One of the most important things we can learn in life is how to let go. How to recognize when there's not much more that can be done in a situation, or that something has reached its end, the end of its cycle, or it's no longer purposeful, a conclusion, and knowing to let it go. This is especially true when it comes to things of chaos. When things get chaotic, a relationship you have with somebody, romantic or otherwise, a friendship, or, within your own family, and naturally, or maybe if it's not necessarily naturally, but we're raised to want to fight for things, want to believe that we have to fight till the end, to save this thing. And some things can't be saved beyond that point. It has reached its end. You've done all you can do. You've done all that you needed to do. And the last thing for you to do is to just let it go. To be able to let things go, it takes a lot of humility, and it takes you to remove ego from the equation. So let's say it's a question of a relationship or a friendship. You know how you've shown up in this relationship. You know what type of friend you've been, but you're not receiving that. You're not receiving the same energy that you put out. In fact, what you're receiving is clearly the person telling you, I have no interest here anymore. How loudly, directly, or aggressively they're saying it, I don't know. But ultimately, that's what they're showing you. That's what they're saying. It's easy to be in our ego and have it in our mind that it's up to us to fix it. Sometimes because it's a people-pleasing kind of thing that we have to fix it. Sometimes it's because we kind of take accountability for the whole of the situation instead of what we have to be accountable for. And we feel like we have to fix it, or there could be a number of reasons why we feel like we have to be ones to fix it. But, and sometimes it's just the fight in us, I've been in this relationship for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 4 years. It can't end. This marriage can't end. We've been friends since high school, since college, for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It can't end. All of these things, which is really coming from the ego, telling you to keep putting not just maximum energy, but energy that's not required, energy that's not necessary, and overboard energy. Because in your mind, if I do this, if I say this, I will fix it and we'll be good. And no. Oh, they're gonna see how much of a good friend I am, or they're not gonna find somebody else like me. So if I show up like this in a relationship, they're gonna see what they have. And no, see yourself for who you are. See yourself for the type of friend that you are, and be that friend to yourself. See how you're showing up in that relationship, and you're moving with intention, and be that intentional about yourself. Reel that ego back in a bit and let it go. That comes also with knowing you will be the villain in somebody's story, and you're okay with it. Not because you actually are the villain. Once you know what, I've done what I've needed to do at a reasonable amount, okay? I've said what I've needed to say. So you weren't, half-stepping or avoiding confrontation. You weren't doing all of those childish things. Let's say we've done what we truly needed to do in a mature way to navigate this, to try to save whatever this is, or even yourself in the workplace. You're in a toxic environment, and you're showing up, as far as your work is concerned, and, you're doing what you have to do, but you're realizing more and more, this is not my place, this is not for me, or things are chaotic, or it's getting increasingly aggressive, or more of an unfriendly experience. All these things that actually are showing you this is the end. You are approaching the end of your time here, which you've needed to do here is done. You've reached the end of this relationship. You've reached the end of this being the way you sustain yourself through life. You've reached the end, but I'm the best employee they got. Listen, let's say you've gone through everything you've needed to do in a mature way, and it is clear that the other party or other parties involved are like, I don't care about any of that. They're showing you the face that they want you to see. Accept it within yourself, humbly, and say, all right, I'm not needed here. I'm not wanted here. That's where the ego comes into play. I'm not wanted here. I see more value in this than this or this person or this sees in me. I'm showing up with my best foot forward. It's not necessarily the same on the opposite end. They can't see my value. It's okay. Let it go. Now, with being the villain, people will always tell themselves what they need to tell themselves. Some people can face the truth as it is. Some people are accountable and can say, you know what? That was on me. But many people are not that. Many people will switch the story in their minds to help them deal with the fact that they messed up a situation, or it's not just so much that they messed it up, is that a situation is over because they did not play their part in trying to save it even. There's always gonna be conflict. We have two people, there's always gonna be conflict. Because we're different people. You can be a twin, a sibling, you and your favorite cousin. There's no such thing as two people existing in a space and never having conflict. So conflict is gonna come about. It's all in how it's resolved, right? So if the person can't admit to themselves, you know what, I'm not the best at conflict resolution. You know, I created the conflict, and even when I created it, I still didn't want to help fix it. I just wanted to deepen the conflict. They will tell themselves and perhaps other people what they need to help them avoid feeling whatever shame may come with admitting the truth, being accountable, or just to feel better about the situation. But you who know that you showed up clean, you know what I mean? Really trying and putting in effort, and then you just realize, you know what? It's not worth this much effort because there's nothing fruitful coming in return. It's not worth taking on this much stress. It's not worth the anxiety that this creates, this depressive period that this puts me in. It's not worth any of that. I'm letting go. I'm walking away from it. Whatever is said about you is just that. It's just what's said about you, period. So if you gotta be the villain, be the villain. But be okay in knowing you humbled yourself, you put your ego to the side. You said, you know what? My presence here is not respected. I'm taking my things and I'm leaving. No big fuss, fight, slamming doors. Nah, we good. We good. You go your way, I go my way. There's no need to, you're gonna, nah, all that stuff is not necessary. Because ultimately in life, actually, all of us are just trying to figure this out. There's no one living right now, to my knowledge, that has lived a life before and has a memory of living that life before and are living this life now and just has all the answers. Because guess what? Even with all of what I said, in this situation, you may be the one that's really trying to save it and blah, blah. And in the next situation, you're the one functioning the opposite way. Of course, we don't want that to be the goal. We don't want to you know what? I'm gonna start some chaotic stuff. Like, no. We don't want to go into things being negative and how we interact with people and being just unkind and all this. We don't want those things. But it just may happen because, as I said previously, Sometimes you just have to accept that people do what they feel is best for them in that moment. And that best partly depends on how they process things, the choices that they feel they have to choose from, the consequence that they feel comfortable facing. People choose what they think is the best thing for them to do at that moment. And that's everybody in any situation ever. Learning to let go, it really opens you up to more. Even when you're making a decision that's not easy to make, it does come with an amount of ease. Probably the biggest thing that we can learn through any and every situation that we will ever live through in life is that we cannot control what happens in life. We can only control how we respond to it. We can't control life. If we had the ability to control life itself, I'm telling you, everybody's life would look completely different from what it is right now. Yes, we have power in our hands over certain things. Yes, we have goals, we have intentions, we have plans, we have purpose, we have passion, we have these things that, will be elaborated on in the future that, we set we put our attention to and we create and we execute. Yes, all of that is true. But even with the perfect plan and for the right purpose and, all the good goals and stuff like that, none of us have control over the way life unfolds for us. One medical emergency for some people, it's over. For some others, it may not be over, but it takes them so many steps back. Some people probably thought they would start school this year and graduate this year, and the reality is that they start school this year and graduate this year, Things that are unexpected as far as when they happen. Like, we know to expect things in life. We know to have to deal with death and, grief and sickness and, certain things, loss. We know to expect those things. We know to expect good things as well. A family, gaining new members, being married, having babies, a promotion, opportunities. We know to expect things in a grand scheme of things, but none of us can say we know exactly what's going to happen 32 days from now. It's because we don't control it. But whatever happens, we can look at it for what it is, take it for what it is, and say, okay, this is the response that we can give. And so when you learn to see life and living that way, just overall, and then you also learn to see it that way as it relates to, relationships or situations or opportunities or whatever it is that you're navigating, emergencies. A lot of the panic or anxiety or stress that we take on will start to fade away because it starts to ease out. That's just a thought that I had today. I hope it's helpful to anyone watching and listening to this. It certainly has been helpful for me in life, just learning to let go. Everything's not the end of the world. Some of us respond to everything. Sometimes I look at some people and everything is responded to like it's the biggest thing in the world. Everything can't be the end of the world. You can't be complaining this much about everything. You can't be this frustrated about everything. It's not a good way to live. It's not a healthy way to live. It's not a way that's conducive to leading a positive life and minimal stress, because there's never going to be no stress, but minimal stress and drama and chaos. But everything is like this. Everything is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Everything's the end of the world. Everything's an emergency. If everything's an emergency, nothing's an emergency. You know what I mean? If everything's the end of the world, I'm sorry, then maybe, hey, fill in the blank, right? So you have to know what's worth it. Some people create drama around you. Some people start acting weird around you and start interacting a certain way. Okay, you address it, and when you address it, maybe they didn't expect to, whatever, however it goes. But it doesn't change. They act weirder or whatever, or they build a narrative against you or what. However, they're in their space, they're in their funk, and they're trying to project that onto you. You don't like it, of course, naturally so. You say, you know what, this ain't worth it. This is childish. I have way more important things and way more serious things in my life to be concerned about than this. I'm letting this go. You look at things and say, you know what, this ain't even worth the time, the stress, the drama, the kid. Let it go. Let it go, really. And if you can't control it, then let it go, because you can't do anything about it anyway but deal with it as it comes. So that's really what it is. Let it go. This is Elikya Ngoma. It feels good to come up here again for a little chat. I will come up here again, and when I have more things to share, definitely share it. Yeah, let it go. All right? All right.